Okay, welcome back to season 3 of our training program. Now, in this particular training session, we're going to uh, create a page that will accept inputs from users based on their first name, their email, GSM number, and comments, and impute this into the database we've already created. Okay, and we'll also be looking at how to create a database link between our page and the actual database we've designed. Okay, so now we're going to launch a Dreamweaver, and we're going to create a contacts page. Okay, we're working with PHP, so I'll click on the PHP file extension. I'll quickly save that as contacts. All right, now we're creating a form, okay, that will accept this input from users. So I put in my form field. I go ahead to create the contact form layout. Okay, how it's going to look like. I'm setting a 1 by 1 by 500, 5 cell padding, cell spacing 1. Okay, I'll go into the code to create a background color. All right, for that table. Then I'll click within the cell in the design view and change the color to white. Set my horizontal and vertical alignments. Okay, then the width will be 488. That actually we have a table of 500. We've set a padding of 5. That's left, right, all round, top, bottom. So that's 5 plus 5, already 10. Less space. Then the one cell spacing, one on this side, one on this side. That's 2. So we are short of 12 pixels. Okay, so 12 pixels from 500 will give us 488. So the actual length, the width of this cell space is what? 488, and that's why we said that. Now it's a good practice to always specify the dimensions of your table, of your cells, of your rows, anything, height, or the columns, because of what? Certain browser features. Because failure to do this, your site may not render well across all browsers. Okay, so it's a good practice to always do this. All right, so now we have our table containment container rather. Now we can create the independent cells. We're having a 5 row by 1. Now the table we're fixing into this table has to match the cell dimension. All right, now we set the others to 0. So we have a 5 by 1 table inserted into that. I can quickly set the the horizontal and vertical alignments, left to center. The width, of course, matches, and I'm setting the height to 30. All right. Of course, the one that will carry the colon will be more than 30, so we could actually remove that and let it expand according to its size. Okay, then we can now go ahead back to our form tab to insert our text box. Now I'm working with Sprite widgets because of its functionalities to, apply some features to those fields. All right. So I'm going to include a text field here. All right. I'm going to include another one here. I'm not inserting the IDs yet, though in practice it's good you do that, but this is how I work. So I can go back later and do that, based on my specifications and all that. Sorry, I inserted that in the wrong cell. Text area. Okay, then finally we insert a button here. All right, so now we go ahead to name our fields. Okay, I'm calling this F name, which stands for full name. That's the name I'm giving to it. Calling this email. I'm calling this sorry, I'm calling this GSM, and this comment. Then I'm going to use the Sprite widget control tag to apply some effects to it, like the hints. I'm going to put in their full name All right, that's by far all I'm doing for that. Then I go to the email. I put in there email. Then I can restrict it such that the input within that place is actually an email. All these are security features to enable you restrict the kind of data that is imputed into a text field. All right, so in here I can put this, the warning information that will come up if something wrong comes up there. So I could put in here not a valid email address. All right, good. Then we look at that of the GSM. Put in the GSM. Then here I can select custom because our phone type is different from that of the global phone format. So ours is actually 11 digits if you're looking at the GSM numbers. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, which will enforce 11, which will enforce numerical values to be imputed, and actually 11 characters. Anything less than or more than that will not be accepted. Then I enforce that pattern. Okay, so I can put as my warning signal message rather, not a valid GSM number. All right, then here I put for my comments. I say post comments. All right, then we could also do character restriction, such as 400 for that. Then we do a countdown on that. All right, I can set this to go down. All right, then I can put as an added message there as 100 characters remaining, such that it displays the countdown information, there. Very good. Then, so now we have okay, let's save that. We have our first name text box in place, our email, our GSM, our comments. Then, not to forget that we are also inserting dates and time. All right, so now the date and time should be automatically generated, not imputed by the user. So in that case, we need to write certain scripts that will enable us to do that. Now, of course, it should not be visible to the user, so we're going to encode it within hidden fields. All right. Okay, so we're going to select this first one and give it the name dates. All right. Then I'm going to impute the scripts that will do that here. So we're going to insert that echo dates. We're going to use this format as a day JSFY and quotes. That's all right. That's the code to generate the current date. Then here we're gonna put that for time. I'm gonna paste the same code here, but right now I'm going to change the variables within it to match that of the time format that I'm looking for. All right, and that generates the time. Okay, so now we have that in place. Then here we can turn this to send. All right, so we have our form that will actually do the generation of these inputs for us. So now the next thing we need to do is to create a database connection to our page. Okay, all right, so we come down to database and we click on the plus sign, click on the MySQL connection. Then we put in the connection name. Now, like I told you, a good practice, always use the same name, so you could always tie your database to your site and to every other thing. Then our MySQL server, remember we're running on our local web server, so that would be localhost. Then your default username is root if you're not creating a user for that. And since we're working on a local server, we really don't need much security features. But of course, when we go online and we post our work online, we'll be talking about the security features then. So we can now come here and select the database. All right, and go for tutors, which we've created. Click on OK. Test your connection. Beautiful. Then we OK it. All right. Now that's in place. Then let's select our form and name our form. I'll call this contacts form. Alright, that's the name of the form. Always a good practice to name your forms, because you could have numerous forms within a page, and a good way to identify one form from the other is by giving them unique names. Alright, so now we go to the server behaviors to insert all these inputs into the database. Alright, we've already created the connection, so now we need to create the input function. So they're not saying submit values from contact form. If there are other forms on this page, you see them listed here. Alright, so we're picking from contacts form, the connection is tutors, and we are inserting into the contacts table. Alright, good. Now you check your columns. Now ID is the primary key, is automated, so you're not picking any value from anywhere. Now fname is picking from fname, email from email, GSM from GSM, comment from comment, date from date, time from time. Beautiful. Everything, it's in place. Then you can now come here. After inserting it, where does it go? Okay, in our case we want to send it back to the same page. All right, so you can insert more, so you send it back to itself and you okay that. All right, once you do that, your job is done. All right, now if we're going to browse this, let's quickly see that. Let's locate tutors site somewhere here. We click on that. Now we don't have an index page, so it loads the site directories. All right, and this is where we're going to. We click on it, and here goes the form. Now you could see the features that the Sprite widget has enabled, okay, using the hints element. All right, now you can see it has pasted the full name here, email here, just so you actually know what to put into those particular text fields. And of course 400 characters remaining, and of course the date and time we cannot see, but it's actually there. All right, hidden, and it captures the current date and time this user is actually filling this form. Okay, so we come in here now and we'll put in details. Akinlowa Oluwasegun, email oluwasegunoge@yahoo.com, GSM 08088955385. Post a comment. I love PHP my SQL. Okay, click on send and brings us back here. All right, now it has imputed that and has brought us back to this same page. All right, let's impute more. We can say my Eugene Nwoji Jenny 2KUK gmail.com, GSM 08056423626. Oh, he is the head of IT and Super Screen Television. All right, click on send. It goes in and brings us back here. Let's actually look at our database to be sure that we have our contents in there. Now this is our tutors database, and this is the contacts table. All right, if you look at the structure now, if you look at the browse, right now we can browse. That means there are inputs there, and if you look at it, here is the first Akinwaluashegun that. All right, with the dates automatically generated and the time. All right, then we also have Eugene Nwoji, Jenny 2K, blah blah blah, everything as set by the user. Okay, now if you look, the ID is generated automatically, the first being 1, the next being 2, and so on and so forth. So this is an illustration of what? Creating a database connection to our page, imputing the contents from the page into the database. Thank you.